Pessoal, bom dia. Sejam todos bem-vindos à 7ª live do Sistema OCB. Meu nome é João Marcos, eu sou analista de relações institucionais do sistema e hoje eu vou ter a honra de moderar a nossa primeira live internacional. Quero agradecer, em nome do Sistema OCB, a participação de todos hoje. Como vocês sabem, o Sistema OCB tem buscado levar informações e promover o intercâmbio entre as nossas cooperativas nesse período de pandemia que a gente tem vivido, através dessas lives nas nossas redes sociais. A gente já teve a oportunidade de falar sobre vários assuntos, né? A gente falou sobre as assembleias virtuais das cooperativas, já falou sobre inovação, educação, tendências de mercado, falou também sobre inovação, e hoje a gente vai falar sobre, hoje a gente vai conhecer experiências internacionais sobre como as cooperativas têm reagido a esse momento tão difícil que todos nós temos vivido. A gente vai contar com tradução simultânea para o português, mas aqui embaixo, na descrição do vídeo, vocês têm acesso a um link com o áudio original em inglês, caso vocês queiram também acessar esse vídeo aqui aqui no YouTube. Quero agradecer mais uma vez a participação de todos, convidá-los a interagir conosco, deixando aqui nos comentários o seu nome, o nome da sua cooperativa, e também enviando perguntas para os nossos palestrantes, para os nossos convidados especiais. Hoje a gente recebe 3 convidados muito especiais, 3 dirigentes internacionais de cooperativas, 3 lideranças amigas do cooperativismo brasileiro. Desde Nairobi, no Quênia, está conectada e nos dá a honra da sua participação hoje, a senhora Cheyong Sifa, diretora regional da Aliança Cooperativa Internacional para a África. Sifa, doutora Sifa, a senhora nos escuta? Pode dar um oi, por favor? Nos escuta, Sifa? Ok. Também nos dá a honra da sua participação, conectado desde Pequim, na China, o senhor Zhang Guangxu, diretor de Relações Internacionais da Federação Chinesa de Cooperativas. Senhor Zhang, o senhor nos escuta? Pode nos dar um oi, por favor?
I can hear. Hello everyone.
E também está conectado conosco desde Roma, na Itália, o senhor Paolo Scaramuccia, coordenador de promoção da Liga Italiana de Cooperativas, a Legacop, nos dá a honra da participação também hoje. Paulo, o senhor nos escuta? Pode dar um oi, por favor?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you.
Obrigado. Bom, como vocês podem ver, a nossa conversa hoje vai ser muito especial, 3 convidados muito especiais. Eu quero pedir desculpas pelo nosso atraso, tendo em vista as conexões que a gente teve que fazer com os 3, em 3 partes diferentes do planeta. E para dar as palavras de abertura, para nos dar as boas-vindas a essa conversa tão especial que a gente vai ter hoje, eu gostaria de convidar um dos embaixadores do cooperativismo brasileiro, né? O Dr. Onofre Filho, presidente da OCB Mato Grosso, que é também o representante do Brasil no Conselho de Administração da Aliança Cooperativa Internacional, um órgão internacional de representação do cooperativismo. O Dr. Onofre é a pessoa que nos representa as cooperativas brasileiras na Aliança, que é o principal organismo internacional de integração do nosso movimento. Peço, então, que o Dr. Onofre faça as nossas palavras de abertura, nos dê as boas-vindas a essa conversa. Dr. Onofre, o senhor nos escuta?
Sim, estou ouvindo. Gostaria de fazer essa abertura, uma abertura muito importante para o nosso movimento cooperativista brasileiro e também para o cooperativismo mundial, na certeza que a energia do nosso movimento cooperativista é capaz e será capaz de transformar essas crises, essa pandemia que nós chamamos de crise sanitária mundial, em benefício para as nossas cooperativas, para os nossos cooperados, em nível mundial, respeitando as características de cada país, de cada nação, de cada cooperativa, e tenho certeza que os nossos cooperados serão bons condutores para que esse processo tenha um fator positivo para todos e que a humanidade, a sociedade mundial, cada vez mais reconhece o cooperativismo como uma forma de manifestar, tanto no social quanto no econômico, para as nossas economias mundiais. Abertura é um privilégio eu me manifestar em nome do cooperativismo brasileiro que eu represento. Muito obrigado e vou ouvir atentamente esses três debatedores, o que eles estão fazendo nos seus países, as nossas cooperativas. Bom trabalho. Cumprimento o senhor Paolo, doutora Shiva e Zhang, para que eles teçam comentários do que foi feito em seus países. Obrigado, vou ficar atentamente junto com o cooperativismo brasileiro, ouvindo-os. Obrigado.
Should I?
Okay, so thank you very much, Dr. Filho, for these introducing words. It was an honor to come with you today. I would like also to thank our international guests or speakers today. So Dr. Sifa Cheongi, it's an honor for us to have you here today. We are very happy that you are able to connect with us this morning and also share some information with us from the African perspective. I would like also to thank Mr. Zhang Guangxu for his participation. It's late now in China, and he's here with us showing the impact of the pandemic to the Chinese cooperatives. I would like also to thank Mr. Paolo Scaramuccia for his participation. It is an honor for us to have a representative from LegaCoop, an organization so traditional on the cooperative movement. So to start, I would like to invite Dr. Sifa Cheongi, Regional Director of ICA Africa, to speak with us, to tell us about the African cooperatives and how they are reacting, how they are being impacted by the international crisis. Please, Dr. Sifa, the floor is yours.
Hello, I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
And I hope you can also see my screen. Is that correct?
Yes. You have to share your presentation.
Try to give you access. First, I would like to say good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are. Sorry. Is that okay?
Está aparecendo a apresentação agora.
Hello? Hello?
Okay, Dr. Sifa, if you can please.
Yes. Should I take off my earphone?
No, please just, if you can please wait for 5 minutes. We have a technical issue to solve here.
No, it's okay. No, it's okay. Thank you.
Yeah, we can see
I hope
your
you can see my screen now.
We do, yes, we can see.
Beautiful, thank you. Sorry for that. I'd like to say thank you very much to our colleagues from Brazil for giving us this opportunity. like we have had Chioke Sifa, the regional director for the ICA Africa. We are very much honored to be given this platform to share our views. I would like to talk briefly about our cooperative, that is the International Cooperative Alliance Africa. Then I will give a bit of introductory remarks on the COVID-19 situation in Africa and which impact it has had on our cooperative movements and how our members in different countries have been able to respond to the crisis. And maybe I will finish with some way forward, what are the thinking around how we can get out of this particular crisis. So I would like to say that the International Cooperative, like we can say, we are one of the 4 regional offices of the International Cooperatives. We are headquartered in Nairobi, that's where we are based. And our mission is about promoting, strengthening autonomous and viable cooperative throughout the continent to advocacy. We do cover all the 54 African countries, but since it's a membership based areas, so currently we only have 38 members in countries, though we are open to all the 54 African countries. And we are involved in all the sectors of the economy, name it agriculture, fishery, retail, banking, finance, health, just to name a few. I'd like now to talk about the impact that the COVID-19 has had on the cooperatives in the African region. I'd like first to say that the choice of countries, I'd like to thank our colleagues from Brazil for the choices of countries, that is from China to Italy and Africa, because definitely I think we a very nice scenario.
Mr. Zhang,
China
if you
being the
can
very
please
first country
turn your
experience with
microphone
a
off,
wealth
please.
of experience to share with us. Then Italy, which was the first hard hit European country, and then we have Brazil also, which is also facing. And us as the Africans, though we are trading, but surely the situation is changing on the ground quite very fast. So I'd like to say that most of the African countries have entered a negative since March 2020. We have had most of the countries have almost cut, or we are in a lockdown or semi-lockdown situation, meaning that it has affected all our sectors, both social and economic as well. So we have seen our debt risk falling very drastically, and that has also impacted on the cooperative sector as well. And the very first thing which one notices very fast is the food security. Even before the COVID-19 crisis, Africa was the continent that this has now been accelerated. This has been rather been more pronounced because of the supply chains which have been broken in COVID-19. But even before the COVID-19, we have also had the issues of floods in some of the countries, and also the invasion of the locusts in that part of Africa. So this compounded problem have had a negative impact on our food security, which was already precarious. Also, our trade, because of the COVID-19 situation, the lockdown or semi-lockdown, depending on the countries, the trade international trade, but also in-country trade has also suffered quite a lot. And how our cooperatives are coping or have been able to respond to the situation. First, for us, we have been able to borrow and live from quite a number of countries which have experienced the same. That is from the Asian countries and the European, but also the American countries, as we discussed the last one to have the wave in terms of magnitude. So our cooperatives trying to reorganize very fast and try to adjust to the situation. They had first to address the issue of survival. How do we survive in this particular time of crisis? and quite a number of our members did come forward. Some did not, they did donate monies, others in kind or cash. Others have also come up with some communication guidelines to try and enforce the messages of the government, the various from the various governments, but also the WHO to the members. And among them, we have had the case of Uganda, like UCA, and which has donated money to support the activities for the governments, as well as the health partners in Uganda, again, which came up with guidelines and communication mechanisms to try and reinforce the message. In Kenya, we have had quite a number of also intervention, like the Cooperative Bank of Kenya, which has donated USD 1 million to the efforts that the government is having in coping up with the situation. But we also have USCO, which has come up with the various guidelines, and also the Department of Cooperative, which is a government agency. And together with all the cooperative movements, they have also been able come up with another 100,000 US dollars in kit, which they give to every household, like US, the staff, the food staff, equivalent to the 15 US dollar per household. And they've been able to cover 500,000 households in so doing. We have also had a case of Ethiopia where our member, that is the Oromia Coffee Farmers Cooperative Union, also donated money together with the Awash Savings and Credit as well to support the government activities. A bit different from money donation, we have had Tunisia, which has been able to reorganize their members and try to make sure that there is a food availability first, but also that their members access the market. That is how they have intervened. Togo as well, there are some efforts where the young and the women also are trying to come up first with the messages, but also how to see they could cope with the situation. In Gambia, we had also the National Association of Cooperative Credit Unions in Gambia, which also donated some food in 7 villages during the pandemic. Those were the direct activities. In South Africa, we have had the cooperative movement working with the government to outsource some of the services, like the cooperative were asked to make the masks and by the government, and also pass the messages of COVID-19, how they could keep themselves safe. In Morocco as well, we have also had our member ODCO. We also worked with other public-private organizations in also passing the messages, but also initiative in terms of food support and the like. Botswana as well, we have also had some circles monies to the tune of 62,000, and Nigeria, that is the CFN, Cooperative Federation of Nigeria, which has also given a kitty to the members, also supporting in terms of cash to the government efforts. So those are some of the few examples, but they are quite multitude. They range from cash donation to the food staff donation to access to market, making sure that also there is the logistics still ongoing, and the people have got food and others, they can access also other services through the cooperatives. So the issue now, after addressing the current situation, and we are now looking at the situation, the long-term effects of COVID-19 on the continent. The African cooperative movement is the most fragile, as you know, because of our economies. Most of our economies are underdeveloped. So basically, we will be the hard hits, even in terms of the infrastructure, be it the health infrastructure, transport infrastructure, and the like. We are the underdeveloped. So that will have even the most negative effects in terms of moving forward. So basically what we are talking about, so we'd like to concentrate most of our efforts and joining hands with other stakeholders in supporting our economies and our governments, and especially give stabilities to the farmers. because the first thing is that we have to look at the survival, that is food security. And we need to invest more on the staple foods and making sure that we have our value chain, food value chains are also, staple food value chain are also developed just like the cash crops. We're also talking about supporting our government in deploying mixture of both monetary measures to stimulate the economy. We've had quite a number of African countries which have come with their recovery mechanisms, but they need the support of the community movement as economic players, but also as social players. For instance, in the agriculture sector, we need to link up with other networks in supporting farmers in the market. And that is where I think this particular conversation is very important, because we need the support of people from Asia, like China, people from Europe, like Italy, people from Americas and Brazil, to for our farmers to be able to access markets and sell their produce. But also any kind of support, be it technical or otherwise, is welcomed as the situation is more dire and precarious in Africa. So cooperatives are coming up with recovery plans for their affiliate members, and this is where we are really hoping that we can join hands together with our other members across the globe to make sure that our members who are in a dire situation can access. So we also have the emergency kits. We have seen some of our cooperative already involved in the emergency kits, and we are still open because I think we have not seen yet the last for Africa. So it's projected that Africa will see its peak toward the August, September. So we are still in a very dangerous situation and lack all the support of all. Thank you very much. Over to you, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Sifa. It is very inspiring, always very inspiring to listen from you. It is very interesting to see how cooperatives in Africa are growing so fast. And it is very interesting also to see how the governments are taking the cooperative model into their strategies for international development, social development, and also economic growth. So it is very interesting to see that indeed during this difficult time, the co-ops are again making efforts to change and to improve the communities where they are. It is very nice to hear that co-ops in some countries are very expressive. I know that co-op credit unions in Kenya are very strong, and in other countries they are also growing very fast. Health co-ops in South Africa, for instance. So your presentation was very interesting, and it is very good to see that co-ops are flourishing so strongly in Africa now. So I thank you for your participation, for your presentation. We definitely will have some questions that I will share with you in the end of this session. So for now, I would like to invite our second guest today, connected with us from Beijing in China, Mr. Jiang Guangshu. Sorry if I cannot pronounce your name correctly. It is an honor to have you here with us today. I understand that you are going to share with us some information on the cooperatives in China, this country that was the first one impacted by the pandemics. We are very interested to learn from you how the co-ops in China, the first one to be affected by the crisis, are reacting to these difficult times that we are living now. So, Mr. Jiang, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, because the time zone different. I'm very honored to be invited to attend this online meeting to share our experience to fight against the COVID-19. We know that during this pandemic, cooperatives worldwide continue to serve members and communities in one way or another, and also actively contribute to the society as a whole. Today, my presentation mainly includes three parts. The first part is the ACFMC, that is All China Federation of Supply and Marketing Cooperatives. In a nutshell, part two, response of China Corp to COVID-19, and part three, future plans. And the first part, the organizational instruction of the China Corp, I will go through quickly. China Corp is the biggest co-op organization in China. We are mainly involved in the business of the agricultural sectors, agriculture-related activities, and we have totally around 17 million members across the country, and this is a big organization. And we have a lot of business outlets in the countryside, which plays a key role in this pandemic fighting. I will mainly discuss to share with you the second part of our response to COVID-19. While promoting recovery steadily, because as you may know that the COVID-19 now is mainly under the control in China, so we are steadily recovers, but we still strictly stick to control and prevention measures, like we have to take the masks in the public. To fight, our response can be generally divided into four parts. The first one is resume work and production, safeguard agricultural production, assist products marketing, and improve circulation networks. The first one, resume work and production. Within the supply and marketing system in China, over 96% of work and production have been resumed. Take Hubei province, the epicenter of COVID-19 in China, for example. Primary cooperatives 100% resumed work. Agri-produce market 100%. Grassroots service centers maybe around 90%. This is the pictures of the primary cooperatives, service centers, and our wholesale market. Almost all they are in operation, reopened now. The second, safeguard agricultural production. As COVID-19 continued through this spring, ensure spring farming not to be affected becomes our top priority. China Corp convened teleconference as early as late February to call for co-ops at various levels to act in accordance with their own conditions to ensure supplies not interrupted. Many co-ops established working teams immediately to help distribute supplies and address other concerns of members. We also try our best to ensure agricultural inputs. To date, fertilizers around 58 million tons, pesticides around 500,000 tons, seeds and others have been provided. Some of them are ordered online or through telephones by members or farmers. Besides, we never stopped other services such as soil testing and land trust. Farmers can make soil testing appointment through internet. Land trust management reached 5.84 million hectares up to 32% compared with the year before. The first picture is the pilot area of land in trust services. The second one, our employees making field visit. The third one is our grassroots crop hospital. The third, assist products marketing. During lockdown, many agricultural produce becomes unsellable, which may inflict huge loss on our members. Products marketing becomes a problem. Online, we give foreplay to our e-commerce platform, such as 832 Poverty Elevation Platform, WeChat mini program, and live stream apps. A special online section is open to help Hubei province, which is the epicenter of COVID-19. With the joint efforts of 20 provincial cooperatives, $890 million worth of Hubei's products, such as spring tea, crayfish fish, edible mushroom, and others have been sold through our e-commerce platform. Offline, we help sell products through our supermarket chains, wholesale markets, and convenience stores. In some provinces, Co-op even set up interim open-air stores to sell fresh agricultural vegetables or fruits. We also promote mutual assistance, one of the founding principles of cooperatives. We call for Co-op in China to lend a hand to Hubei province, Hubei co-ops in this time of crisis and received very positive feedbacks. These pictures shows our mini program online store. You no need to download apps. You just use the WeChat, which almost everyone uses, and click the mini program of the store, and you can start choose vegetables, fruits, and others with your cell phone. The second one shows our offline convenience store. All the vegetables in the store are sold at reasonable price as they are directly transported from farm. The third one shows two workers promoting cooperative products through live streaming platform. Called live streaming is increasingly gaining popularity in China. Almost everyone in China knows or uses the mobiles to get this living streaming. This is why we use this for products marketing. The last one is the online post calling for co-ops to help buy Hubei products. With concerted efforts, 1.36 million tons of fresh agricultural products sold online. $890 million was Hubei's products, i.e. spring tea, crayfish, edible mushrooms, and others have been produced within supply and marketing system, procured within supply and marketing system. 4. Improve circulation network. Supply and marketing cooperatives are deeply rooted in rural areas, and serving farmers is one of our main work. We try to improve the circulation network connecting urban and rural areas and address the problem of last mile delivery service. During the pandemic, Co-op set up working teams and organized delivery trucks for agricultural supplies distribution. Some of the supplies are sent directly to farmers' doorstep or farmland, and the farmers' products are transported directly from farmland to our stores. This is the delivery truck for fertilizers. This picture shows the fertilizers are transported to farmland. The third one is procuring agricultural products from farmland. The third part, our plan next step. First, improve our comprehensive service platform, integrated current service outlets improve service ability at the county level, and developing national and regional socialized agricultural alliance to maximize services to small farmers and new types agricultural entities. Second, extend agricultural trust services, expand land trust scale, and extend trust service chain from ploughing, management, harvest to processing. Third, forge synergy in serving farmers. Further cooperation with agricultural organizations or other enterprises related to agriculture to rejuvenate rural areas. During this pandemic or the lockdown, the cooperatives in China plays a very important or key role in supplying the daily using articles such as vegetables, food, to support the people's living, which is a base to win this pandemic. That's very important. And second important experience that is live streaming and e-commerce, because this is a very modern method to keep distance on the serving, providing when you provide the services to the members or to the people, which is very effective to avoid getting infected. So that is mainly my presentation on our experience against the pandemic. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Zhang, for your presentation. It is indeed very inspiring as well. It is very nice for us to see how our model, the cooperative model, is working with the societies in Africa, in China, in different parts of the world. It is true that our model, the cooperative model, is a model that not only seeks economic growth, but also social development. And it is very nice to hear from you, because we can see that China, a country which has one of the largest number of co-ops in the world, is always inspiring us. It is very nice to see that you have very innovative cooperatives, and you have been investing in online selling the products of the cooperatives, including the agricultural ones. It was very, very interesting to hear from you. So I thank you very much for this presentation. So to continue with our very, very interesting conversation today, I would like to invite Mr. Paolo Scaramuccia, directly from Italy, from Rome. He is the coordinator of promotion of the Italian League of Cooperatives, the Lega-Coop, which is a very traditional organization which represents co-ops in Italy. Mr. Scaramuccia, can you hear us, please?
Yeah, thank
floor
you.
is yours.
Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. And thank you for the invitation. It's a very pleasure for me to meet and discuss with cooperators from 3 different continents. And I bring you the greetings of the President Lusetti and our colleague Stefania Marconi. I share the presentation. Can you see? Okay, thank you. In Italy, we are gradually reopening all activities with rule of security and social distancing in these weeks. So you can see some numbers about us before the pandemic. Now we wait how much the COVID has influenced these numbers, and how much our work in support of cooperatives has been useful. So we must wait some months to see the results. We remained open and continue the support activities of our cooperatives in the emergency phase. Activities of support the cooperatives, those in difficult, forced to close in the lockdown, and those that have continued the activity. Our office have remained open, adopted all health and safety measures, and favored for all employees the smart working. And we have activated a website for the emergency where we collect all the useful information, regulatory updates and economic opportunities from the government, and the history of the cooperatives in the efforts in the emergency, and the service for the emergency and matching between companies. Our national consortia have organized the supply chain of protection devices. We had a big problem in Italy with to take the device, the protection. So we supported the cooperative chain that has been reconverted the production of production of protection devices, masks, disinfectants, to make it available to the cooperatives, especially those operating in the emergency phase, in the welfare, health, transport, cleaning, agri-food. And then we with COP Fund, our mutualistic fund, launched a call for to help the small cooperatives with financial liquidity problems, in particular in the sector of social, culture, tourism, publishing, and workers' buyout, that the sector most affected by the lockdown in Italy. The cooperatives. In the emergency, they have donated tens millions of euros to the hospital for the emergency and to the research. Thousands of cooperatives have been active to give support to help to their local communities, from free meals for people in difficulty, free taxi rides for patients and doctors, home delivery of essential goods for elderly and sick people. So the cultural cooperatives and media that they are closed for the lockdown have organized training courses, online entertainment, interactive visits to the museums, libraries, and monuments to help people in the lockdown, for help the people. You can see on the website, at the address of their website, a lot of the history of these cooperatives. But what we have learned in this period, first of all, being make the difference. It's not a work experience that we can close with the end of the emergency. The changes induced by needs of the emergency produced more renewal than 100 association regulation meetings, so we can see the change is possible in time very small. So our cooperatives are changing. We must change with them. In a few weeks, in March, all activities of Lega Coop went online. We have very fear. We will not be ready for this. And the result was that we have involved many more cooperatives. We had higher participation with the meetings and the governance future. And we listened and talked to many more cooperators, more members of cooperatives. We have given many more service to the cooperatives in the half the time, polluting much less, because we are all in smart working, so polluting much less. But we are starting to build a future, and our future we are imagining based on 4 stones. That there are new services for cooperatives, a balance from to face-to-face services for cooperatives and digital services. It's important for us to invest in digital services, but we must remain a national and territorial association. We improve to service net of service, new method to arrive to the cooperatives, but new subjects to improve, to work, and new instruments. And the innovation, it's the center of this rethinking of association. In the last year, we founded a PICO Foundation. It's our LegaCoop Foundation for Innovation, and to improve and support the cooperatives to the transition to digital, with new products to realize, new model of production, training in the digital teams, new model of participation. And the future for us is the investment on the platform cooperativism. Training is essential. Invest the human resources. In particular, we must invest on the sustainability and innovation together with new competence for the people. In particular, in the governance, 2 things. One, mix the cooperative principle and SDGs 2030, and then generational and gender exchange. We see that in this period, in this phase of emergency, it's very important the generational exchange. The last but not the least, the communication. We invest a lot in communication in this period with new formats, new tools. We have a channel YouTube with weekly video news and instruments for platform to share and co-working and for communicate with engage the cooperatives and the membership in the governance, in the function of governance online. We are redesigning the territorial and sectoral organizational structure. We must improve the service, qualify the services and the diffusion at home for cooperatives, but we must balance between physical and virtual because it's important remain a national organization. We may need attention, so quality of human resource, very strong, I repeat, generational change policies, investment in technology, and our offices now it's empty, but we are working from home, so we must redesign function of physical offices and rethinking the function and the ways delivering our membership services. Develop a new system of alliance, research, social organization, and with the Alliance of Italian Cooperatives, with the other Italian Representative Association of Cooperatives, we presented a manifesto, Rebuilding Italy Cooperating, to propose a new contents and innovative modalities for a new associative representation in the institution. You can see here our social network channel where we can find our history and more information about us. Obrigado. It's correct? And thank you.
Yes, it's correct, Paulo. So thank you very much for your beautiful presentation. It is very nice to hear from you. Italy has one of the oldest and most traditional cooperative movements in the world. That's very inspiring. That's very interesting to hear how important co-ops are in your country. They are very participative of the economy. You have very large cooperative enterprises in the consumption area, also transportation. You have agricultural cooperatives, very strong, and it is always very interesting to see how impactful your impacting your cooperatives are in your country. Thank you for your presentation. It was very nice to listen to the three of you. We have here representatives from countries that are experiencing very different stages of the pandemic. So we have China, where the crisis started. So we could listen from Mr. Zhang and understand how cooperatives are already recovering and restoring their activities. We also listened from Dr. Sifa from the African perspective, where the pandemics came last. And finally, we had Mr. Scaramuzia, who nicely talked to us about the impact in Italy, one of the countries in Europe which were most impacted. So thank you very much for the three of you to give us this very large and very interesting perspective of the situation of the co-ops in your countries. So for now, I would like to start with the questions. We are receiving our questions through the comments here on YouTube and also Facebook. Thank you for everyone who are sending us the questions. I will start with a question to Paolo and also Sifa. So in these different times that we are living, the seventh principle of co-ops is very necessary. But we have new challenges to implement this, the cooperation amongst cooperatives in this situation that we are living now. So, Paulo, how do you see, how do you think the cooperation, international cooperation for cooperatives will work from now on? I know that in Italy you have an organization dedicated to the international cooperation, Coopermondo, exclusively for co-ops. So I'd like to ask from you, how can we cooperate internationally in these difficult times? And also to Dr. Sifa, if I can extend, Africa is a continent where the countries are very interested for receiving the international cooperation and sharing experiences. So how do you see, also Sifa, how will we work from now on during these difficult times to keep promoting the cooperative model in our countries with the help from other countries, other experiences? So Paulo, if you want to start, please. Paulo, I think we cannot hear you because...
Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
During this period, probably it's more difficult the exchange from the different cooperatives from continents and in the supply chain in cooperation to development. But our cooperatives that they're working about it probably, and they are support the policies, the action with more strongly than before, because we have very sorry for my English, I apologize. Concern for the situation in the other continents, probably in Africa, for the arrival of coronavirus, of COVID. So we try to support with the projects that the cooperatives support in before of the pandemic, in the emergency too. I don't know very well the activities, but we have a lot of cooperatives that have the projects in different continents to cooperation to development. And in this period, probably we support and therefore the supply chain for bring the products of this labor in our commercial net. Probably it's we hope that we can afford this this supply chain with the development.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Scaramuccia. I'll ask also Sifa to answer the question. Sifa, can you hear us?
Yes, thank you. I can. Thank you very much, Jao. First and foremost, I would like to say that the question is very pertinent and very good and very timely, I could say. What COVID-19 crisis has taught us is that you have to have something for yourself to be able to offer something to others. So sustainability has become very key. We have seen how the world did shut down, and each country locked down all its borders, and we had to depend on our internal resources to survive. So moving forward, sustainability, national sustainability, and our organization's sustainability becomes very key and very resonate very well with our cooperative objectives. So we'll put more emphasis on our organization to achieve self-sustainability, because anytime any other crisis can come, and we should not remain vulnerable. That is one thing. However, we will not be able to achieve that sustainability without cooperation, because our friends have been there before. So they know we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We can borrow a little from them. I would like also to thank Jiang, that is the All China Marketing Federation, because they saw that coming, and they have been helping us to exchange experiences and trainings. We have had the same with Brazil. We have also had good relationship with Coopermondo and also projects here and there. So basically what we are trying to say here, sustainability for the cooperative movement in Africa, but also our national sustainability becomes very key. And any support toward that, scaling up that support is what we will be longing for moving forward, as we know that we don't live in a vacuum. A problem we started in a particular locality did impact on all of us, meaning we would like also to have that positive impact, which some who have successfully achieved that, like China, you can see the way they are successfully managed the situation. Would like also to borrow the same. So those are some of the international cooperation we are longing for and like to see happening moving forward. The same as we're having currently with Brazil, trying to exchange ideas, learning from each other, so that we don't reinvent the wheel. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sifa, Paolo as well. It is very nice to hear from you. You know that previously we had another live here where we discussed international cooperation among cooperatives in Brazil. And now you are saying the same thing. You are showing us that everywhere in the world, this is the time to cooperate between our cooperatives, and also to stimulate cooperation in our society. We have another question for the three of you. It comes from Turkey, from our colleague Unal Örnek, who asks us how are the relations with the governments during this period of times, this difficult period that we are experiencing? Did you note any difference on the relations with the governments during the pandemics, or do you think it will be more challenging now, or this is the time is this the time for us to approach more strongly the government? How do you see the relation with the government co-ops and the government bodies? I'll start with Mr. Zhang Guangshu, if you can please answer first. Yes, Mr. Zhang, we cannot hear you yet.
Beg your pardon, I didn't catch up your question on what I should answer.
Yes. No, I was just asking, actually, there's a question from our colleague Unal from Turkey. He's asking the three of you, how are the relations with the governments in this period of time? Is it strongly, do we have some challenges? How governments are supporting our co-ops in this pandemic situation that we are experiencing now?
Yes, it is. I think that this pandemic brings a lot of difficulties and for the survival of the cooperative. But the cooperative also have the opportunity to have more survival abilities under this special situation if we can manage it ourselves much better to provide the needs, the people's needs, to support their lives. And during this pandemic, that the people feel that the cooperatives gives them a better services because of the cooperative socialism, because of the cooperative sense of social responsibility. They are not purely pursue for the profit. They have the sense of the social responsibilities. So they under this pandemic, the cooperatives plays a very good impact to the people's mind and support the people's lives better than the limited companies. That has strong advantages, and this will brings the change the people's impact on the cooperatives. Since that under these digital economies, the cooperative is traditionally the people consider the cooperative they are traditional economic organizations. We are backward under this new fast development of the digital economy. So, but on this pandemic, the people's recognized the value of the cooperative, because the cooperative helps each other to do the mutual assistances. And in this aspect, the cooperative is stronger than the other economic cooperatives, and than the other economic companies, normal companies. So I think that we have our strong advantages to present under this pandemic as a cooperative organizations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zhang. It's very nice to hear. So I will pass to Mr. Scaramuzza. We know that Legacoop is very active on on lobbying to the government. Like COP is an organization founded in the 19th century. You have lots of tradition. You have proposed and approved legislation for social cooperatives, which inspires everyone in the world. So I'm sure that Mr. Paulo Scaramuzza has some very interesting views to share with us today.
This about it. With the government, we had good interlocution almost daily with the government and the institution in general. We had the most big problem for us is for the find the protection dispositive in the emergency for our cooperatives, because the masks was taken from civil protection from the government. So we had the support to reconvert our activities. But as Mr. Zhang, we had recognized from communities and from institutions the cooperatives' role in the economic and in the communities for the attention for the people in the emergency phase. For the cooperators demonstrated a lot sacrifice spirits, and they are very they do a very good experience for a lot of people to support and help the communities most in difficult. The most activities with the government, we in the interlocution for to have the support the enterprises that they are closed for and liquidity for financial liquidity for the lockdown, and to support the security protocol for reopen the activities. This is the most important activities, and for the interlocution with government by smart working with the government too.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Scaramuzza. Sifa, if you can please share your views with us, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'd like to first and foremost say that the ICA Africa have a good working relationship with African governments, and so are our members. As you know, we work in very close collaboration. We have got some governments which have got ministries or departments in charge of cooperatives, and as ICA Africa, we bring them together. We have a ministerial conference. We have the technical committee of the ministerial conference made up of the registrars, directors, and commissioners of cooperatives. And most of the time when we meet with our members. So we already have a working relationship. And more so now, this COVID-19 crisis has brought us very close together, because if you have seen in my presentation, most of our activities, that is the members' activities, were done either through the government. So the government has made an appeal, and the cooperative came up and did donate monies, either through the government or foods or any other assistance to the community at large, either through the government machineries or our own machineries. And again, the cooperative movement did work as an amplifier of the government communications about the COVID-19 by sharing the same information with our members. So we have seen a very close and positive working relationship. And moving forward, as we look at this economic stimulus packages, which governments are now putting into place, definitely cooperative as socio-economic players also will benefit somehow, and we shall continue to work together, because we did understand in Africa that indeed we are not competitors, we are rather partners in development. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sifa. Actually, the next question is to you. So our colleague Fernando Perez from Brazil is asking, is there any cooperation among Brazilian and African cooperatives? Is there also any donation from Brazilian co-ops to African cooperatives? If you can please answer, Dr. Sifa.
Yeah, thank you very much. I would like to say that Brazil is a friendly country, or a friend country to Africa. We have had quite a number of exchanges between Brazil and the cooperative movement in Africa. And over and above that, in fact, if I could single one particular biggest contribution of Brazil cooperation to the cooperative development in Africa, is through our Portuguese member countries. Remember, we talk about no one should be left behind, and because of the language barrier, we have had quite issues with bringing on board our country members from which are Portuguese speaking, and exactly Brazil has helped us first to organize our Portuguese speaking countries in Africa and linking them up with the rest of the world. So that is the big plus we have had from Brazil. Second, we have seen the Brazil cooperative movement operating in those countries physically, meaning they have got projects, they have got trainings, and so many other activities which we have shared together, and some of the commercial activities as well. Although I would like to see more happening, especially in terms of health cooperatives, agricultural trades, and the like. But by and large, Brazil and Africa, we are friends. We have been working together, and we do appreciate the support in helping, especially the Portuguese-speaking countries, but the help or assistance has gone beyond the Portuguese-speaking countries. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Sifa. Just to comment on your answer, I would like to also to say that OCB is very happy to contribute to the cooperative movement in Africa. As you said, we cooperate with our colleagues from the Portuguese community in Africa, from Mozambique, Angola. And also we are partners with the Brazilian government for a project in Botswana and also in Algeria to promote the cooperative business. So Brazil receives cooperation from some countries, from many countries actually, and we also, OCB also tries to share our experience on cooperatives with other partners, with other organizations. Thank you for your answer, Dr. Sifa. So the next question is to Dr. Zhang from China. Dr. Zhang, my colleague Ana Ruchi Ferreira from Brazil is asking about the Rejuvenate project in the countryside, the project that you mentioned on your presentation. Could you please give us some more information on this project, which seems to be very interesting also for us, for our reality here in Brazil, please? I'm not sure if Mr. Zhang, can you?
Yes, can you hear me?
Please, yes, please, yes.
Okay. Yes, to answer your questions, that what I just talked about our plan in the near future, that we will focus more on the rejuvenate rural areas, is that there's many aspects of this project or this plan. One of that is that we bring the modern method or modern management or even the modern environment to the rural areas, because relatively that rural areas is backward in the fast development of the economies in China. So we need more attention to improve the life of the farmers, improve the quality of living environment. So we are bringing the digital, like the live streaming method of selling their products and the e-commerce outlets in the rural areas. These new channels can bring the more benefit for the farmers, for the members of the cooperatives. We will establish more outlets by using these new techniques to bring the modern aspects of the life to the farmers. This is one aspect. And the second is that we improve the living environment, like the building the new houses for the farmers or for the members, the new toilet, and new the recycling methods, recycling channels, recycling equipment to make the environment more clean, the air is more clean. And this all are included in the plan of the rejuvenate of the rural areas. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Zhang. Actually, the next question is also to you. Mr. Mateus Soares from Brazil is asking about the 832 platform co-ops that you mentioned for agricultural products in China. Were these platforms created during the pandemics, or were they expanded during the pandemics? Is there any type of connection between them, among them? Could you please elaborate a bit on this interesting project, please?
Okay. Thank you for the question. The 832, the name of this platform, where does this name come from? Is that this is the number of the poverty areas, the most the poorest areas, 832. So the purpose of establishing this platform is to help these poorest areas to sell their products through this platform. And we make the people know this platform, and the buyer and the consumer to buy the things through this platform. They know that they contribute for the poverty elevation. So this is the purposely established for the poverty elevation. So the people know that they contribute to help the people who are still in the poor conditions, who need the earnings. So this purposely established. This is a platform established before the pandemic. But this platform plays a very important role in coping with the COVID-19, because during these lockdown times, only the e-commerce are functioning very well because of the lockdown. So this platform just give his functions under these pandemics. So the peoples, and especially the people who need the help through this platform, they can sell their agricultural products, and the people in the urban areas, they can buy it in this platform. So only these poor areas, they are permitted or entitled to register in this platform to sell these products to the urban areas, to the city consumers. So this platform is purely designed for the poverty elevation by the cooperative in China. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Zhang. It is very interesting, another very interesting project. from All China Federation. I know that you are very active in the services that you provide to your very large number of cooperative members. It must be very challenging to attend all of them so professionally. So thank you very much for your contribution. Dr. Sifa, we have a last question for you, coming from Brazil as well. Is it possible to know more about GCI, the GCI fund, please?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, the GCI fund, I started way back. That was in 2019, 2012. I think immediately after the cooperative, cooperative year. So that is when some mind came together and decided that indeed it was good to create some fund to help the most fortunate. And at that time, it was more looking toward Africa. I tried to see how they could help the cooperative movement in Africa, because it is not a secret that the African continent is lagging behind in so many ways. And in so doing, the cooperative, not first, the continent itself is lagging behind in so many ways. And so the cooperative movement as well, because we are a true reflection of our societies anyway. So that is why they felt like to try and pull and so that at least they can help the cooperative to come at par with the rest. They wanted to create this particular fund. It has changed names over time. So after that, as we know it today, the GCI fund is still an idea which it's a project, like you can say it, and it has even changed the focus for being purely like a grant revolving fund kind of fund to a more of a commercial developmental funds, like I can say it, meaning investors can put in their monies and let those who are in need, not only in Africa, but also in Latin America and Asia as well, to access those funds on a very low interest rates. So those are the current thinking, and I think they are still trying to bring in investors and see how it can help. Then definitely, whichever form it takes, it will still be of help to the developing countries. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sifa, for your contributions. So I would like to thank all of you for your brilliant presentations. We feel honored to have you with us today, sharing your inspiring experiences. It was a very interesting debate. If we receive any other questions from our colleagues, we will share with you later and try to answer all of them. So to give us the closing remarks of this conversation, I would like to invite again Dr. Onofre Filho, President of OCB in the state of Mato Grosso, and also our representative to the International Cooperative Alliance Board. Dr. Onofre, if you could please give us the closing remarks of this conversation, please.
Eu fiquei muito satisfeito e penso que o cooperativismo brasileiro e o cooperativismo mundial foi contemplado com esses debates esclarecedores sobre o cooperativismo nos 3 países, China, no continente africano e na Itália. Gostaria de passar uma mensagem que mesmo sendo as percepções diferentes de alguns dos debatedores, com a peculiaridade de cada país, o nosso movimento cooperativista conflui com os nossos objetivos determinados nos nossos 7º princípios. As nossas cooperativas, os nossos cooperados, e onde nós estamos inseridos na sociedade, cumprimos com o nosso dever, que é a nossa natureza deste grande movimento cooperativista mundial. E gostaria de fazer um convite em nome do sistema OCB brasileiro, que teremos em Mato Grosso, Cuiabá, um fórum internacional, provavelmente em dezembro, que discutirá temas importantes que confluem com o movimento cooperativista brasileiro e mundial. Discutindo ideias próprias. E a própria ideia no conhecimento, negócio e sustentabilidade para o presente e o futuro. Obrigado a todos.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Filho, for your closing remarks. So I would like to apologize to our speakers, to our colleagues who are watching this live today. Unfortunately, we had some technical issues to solve. It was, as I mentioned, our first international live, so we had our brilliant speakers connected from different countries, and it was a bit challenging for us to organize this first live. So I'm sorry for the issues with the audio and also with the delay that we had in the beginning of this live. I would like to thank you, all of you, again for your contributions, for your questions, for your participation. OCB is working to bring more information to you during this difficult times that we are experiencing, and listening today to these 3 beautiful experiences on cooperatives. I'm sure it will inspire us and help us to keep focused on our cooperative identity. We are all cooperators, and it is very nice to hear from colleagues from other countries that are also experiencing the same challenges that we are facing now, but are strongly keeping their identity as cooperative leaders. So thank you very much, Dr. Sifa, Mr. Zhang, Mr. Scaramuzza. I know that it's late for you and already it's Friday night for you. So thank you for keeping connected to us, sharing with us this day. So thank you very much. I'd like also to invite all of you to follow our social media. OCB is present on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter. So if you search for Sistema OCB, you will find our our profile pages there. Thank you very much again, and see you soon in the next live organized by OCB. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank
Bye.
you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.